so in store for you today.
It's gonna be so good.
There's going to be praise and worship. There's going to be story time. There's going to be a game.
It's gonna be amazing. Then we are live on stage and we're ready to go. Are you ready for a great episode?
Yeah, so make sure you like and subscribe and enjoy today's episode.
This next game is Guess the Phrase. What's going to happen is I'm going to say something and you need to guess what I am saying. Here we go. Are you ready? Pay attention closely. All right. Phrase number 1. Okay, I'll say it again. I love bacon donuts. How did you go? Okay, phrase number 2. And again. Oh. Nothing is better than spinach hamburgers. Ugh, spinach hamburgers. Ugh. Okay. Third and final phrase guess today. Ready? Here we go. Oh, 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 oh. If you guessed it, you're probably gonna think it's pretty gross. Ready? One more time. Now, say it with me. Here we go. I love licking toenails. Do you? That's gross. As if you love licking toenails. Oh, you are gross. Well, that's it for this week's Guess That Phrase. Hey kids, thank you so much for tuning in this week and every other week. Feel free to share this and comment, like, all those things. But also, I want to see you at church. That's right, in person. So you can register and you can have a look online. And we want to make sure that you are welcome here at Influencers Church. So you and your parents or your family, you can come along to church and have some fun with us. Welcome back to Storytime this week. This is the final week of our series on senses. So we've covered everything. Last week we did a great recap on a new sense. We've covered 4 out of the 5 senses. We've covered sight, we've covered smell, we've covered touch, we've covered taste, and there's only one sense left. And I wonder what the final sense is. It's hearing, that's right. I'm talking today about the sense of hearing. It's weird. Have you ever thought about ears before? How odd are ears? Like they're just things on the side of your head. If you actually take a moment to think about it, you gotta go, what the? But hearing is one of the most incredible senses. And did you know, bit of science for you. Here we go. I know, Epic Sundays, bit of science. That if you actually shut down some senses, your other senses start to raise up. Did you know that? So if you start to reduce in some senses, what your body naturally does is heighten the senses of your ones remaining. So hearing, for example, and if you've ever been in a dark room before at nighttime scared, your hearing would be so much better than it would be in the middle of the day where there's light and there's other things happening and when you're tasting things and smelling things. But at nighttime, when it's all still, it's all dark, you're hearing, you go, what's that sound? What's that sound? Even my kids the other night, there was a particular sound, it was a new sound, either a new animal or something outside. And they raced downstairs. Dad, what was that sound? What was it? And I went, it's okay, it's just a new sound. And we tried to rationalize it, and it's all good. But today, to connect it to God, this is one of the most important things I want to share with you. The sense of hearing and hearing from God. I don't know if you've ever heard from God before. I don't know if you've ever heard His voice. I don't know if you've ever had so much clarity and so clearly you're like, I think God spoke to me. What? God's got a voice? One of the hardest things, I don't know if you've seen, but the Prince of Egypt and the director in writing the particular film would have had a hard job trying to work out for God's voice, does he sound loud? Is he like a booming voice? Is it a deep voice? Or does he have a voice like this? Have you ever thought about what God sounds like? But it's very different to that, what I want to share to you today. I want to share from the book of 1 Kings and the story of Elijah. Because Elijah heard from God. So why don't we just read what it sounded like? And then we can start to think about what that means for our life. So I'm going to read a couple of verses, 1 Kings chapter 19, from verse 11. I'm going to read a little bit, so get ready. Here we go. Go out and stand before me on the mountain, the Lord told him. And as Elijah stood there, the Lord passed by, and a mighty windstorm hit the mountain. It was such a terrible blast that the rocks were torn loose, but the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord wasn't in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, there was a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. So there we go. We've had wind, we've had earthquake, and now we've had fire. And Elijah's there going, God. Nah, nothing. Can't hear him. But then, here we go, reading from verse 12. And after the fire, there was a sound of a gentle whisper. And I want to focus on just those two words, gentle whisper. So we've had 3 incredible sounds: wind, earthquake, fire. Imagine how loud and crazy that would have been. And then there's this moment of a gentle whisper. And that's what I want to pick up today with our sense of hearing. Sometimes we just think God's this booming, loud voice, and when He speaks to us, it's poof. But actually, I wonder if we start to quieten down other areas, other senses, we start to bring those all down, and other senses are heightened, such as our sense of hearing, we then have a moment where we can hear from God. My hope is that you hear from God. My hope and my prayer is that you have this encounter with God. A couple of weeks ago, I talked about my hope is that your life gets touched by God. This week, my hope is that you hear from God. Because there's nothing like hearing from God. It could be a dream, it could be a direction, it could be, hey, you've been treating your friend this way, actually start to treat your friend that way. That's hearing from God. You go, yes, you're right, God. So I don't know what's been troubling you or what's been worrying you or what you're going through, but I wonder if you can just set aside some time, maybe even before bed tonight, where you actually have a moment of silence, where you shut down all the other senses, even other noises, and you have this moment of just talking with God. Because so often our prayers are just us talking. God, here's my worry, here's this, and then amen. And then we go on with our day. But I wonder sometimes if God's there going, hang on, you're doing a lot of talking. Can I do a little bit of talking? So my encouragement this week is when you pray, maybe when you pray, have a little bit of a moment, a little window of time where you can just let God speak. Or even as you do some praise and worship, as you talk to God in that moment, that's often for me. So I receive such clarity in moments of worship, when I'm just so focused on Him, nothing around me, no other worries, when I'm focused on Him, I receive these incredible revelations. It's like God is directly speaking to me. And it might not be this crazy loud voice, but a gentle whisper. So this week for story time, I want to encourage you in your prayer life, just have a moment of silence. Have a moment of just thinking about God and trying to hear from God. Hey kids, hey families, we want to invite you here at Influencers Church. We're running a families event called Glowfest. It's on the 30th of October. Have a look below for information. There's hot chocolate, there's cupcakes, there's M&Ms, there's chocolate, there's lollies, there's more chocolate, there's heaps of candy, there's lollies, and a whole lot of fun. Check out below the details for our Glowfest on the 30th of October.
You spoke a word and brought the world to light. Your voice still echoes through the darkest night. I could try my best to count the stars. Nothing could compare to who you are. With you, everything is brought to light. With you, everything comes back to life. You died to make me whole. I want the world to know. With you, nothing is impossible. You called my name and told these bones to rise. And with the breath you brought me back to life. I could try and do it my own way. Jesus, I know only you can save. With you, everything is brought to light. With you, everything comes back to life. You died to make me whole. I want the world to know. With you, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. When the world is upside down, when I can't find solid ground, you turn it all around. Nothing is impossible. When I feel like I'm alone, when I'm far away from home, I know that I'm your own. Nothing is impossible. When my world is upside down, when I can't find solid ground, you turn it all around. Nothing is impossible. When I feel like I'm alone, when I'm far away from home, I know that I'm your own. Nothing is impossible. With you, everything is brought to light. With you, everything comes back to life. You died to make me whole. I want the world to know. With you, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. With you, nothing is impossible. You died to make me whole. I want the world to know. With you, nothing is impossible.
Kids, if you are loving Epic Sunday today, I know that you're going to love our kids program right here at Influencers Church. Can I encourage you to check down below in the description where you can get connected with our church and you can come along on a Sunday morning and worship with us, learn with us, grow with us, and have a whole lot of fun in person.